Welcome to episode 18 of the Hotfix podcast. Today we're talking about the Microsoft Showcase 2020.
Led by
Craig.
Thank you, Craig.
Craig.
Thank you for
Twitter's
a good event.
new favorite character. Let's go.
Welcome to Hotfix, the weekly podcast that dives into the fascinating world of streaming, gaming, and esports. With your hosts, Brant Vladichuk and Jeremy Kelly.
So, an event happened.
What event?
You haven't heard? Breaking news symbols. We got to witness Xbox do an efficient, effective, strong performance of a release event.
Certainly better than the last one.
I mean, it would be hard to not be. But yeah, the Xbox event happened last Thursday, and it was good. I think it was a strong showing. We had talked before we started recording that, you know, Sony and Xbox both had strong performances, but both performances were very, very much anchored by their flagship titles. Mm-hmm. Like, no one really had anything that was like blow your mind that wasn't from the absolute creme de la creme of their studios. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to see that Halo did so well. I'm happy to see that Fable is there, which, like, anyone from last episode, fucking,
how did we
how
not
stupid do we look?
Fable.
Like, you know what's probably going to happen? Conker's Bad Fur Day. That's what's going to happen. Not Fable, though. Fucking idiots, dude. I don't know.
Feel free to make all the comments below.
Yeah, so that's just,
deserve it.
I mean, that's the ultimate show that we are literally just gamers and not experts. So, like, let's keep that in mind. So first off, I mean, right out of the gate, thankfully, Halo was the first thing. Like that, start off the show with basically all that anyone cares about.
Yeah,
is
everybody was there for Halo.
Right, 100%. That's why people were there. And anyone that's a long time watcher of the show or any newcomers, just so you guys know, Brant is like the Halo guy. Like, he is a Halo fanboy through and through.
At least the Halo guy in the room.
Yes.
I wouldn't call me the absolute authority.
Yeah,
on
no,
Halo.
I'm not saying you're the authority or like a Halo expert, but you are like a gigantic Halo fan.
Yeah. Okay. That's
right.
Fair.
Which is like,
I don't want to set any.
No. But I think that's
Expectations.
almost better. I think I would rather hear from someone who's just a fan of Halo as opposed to like, well, I developed at Bungie for 3 years and I used to play on the esports team and like whatever it may be. And it's just, I don't know. I don't like that. None of that speaks to me. So like, the layman that I am loves the fact that you're just someone who really enjoys playing Halo.
Just a mega fan.
Exactly.
It's the whole reason why I game. So.
Well, and there you go. So, what are your thoughts?
Elephant in the room. I'm going to blow past this very fast because I know Twitter has just been an absolute gong show on the topic of the graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Didn't look the best in the demo. For the audio listeners, we have Brute Craig up in the background. Who, if you don't, just Google it. It's fucking hilarious. I'm not going to put judgment on the graphics yet because it is confirmed with interviews with 343 that it's in development and they're not final. So that out of the way, I'll pass judgment on the graphics
that as
once we know what they are on release. Okay, I think that's only fair.
Yeah,
but yeah, they didn't look the best.
Not great.
Which I guess we talked about that before as well. That to have that as like to demo your flagship console and your flagship game and not give any sort of warning of that, and like give the expectation that like this is what you're getting.
So my concern, what Brent is talking about, my concern was that like I understand that the game is still a couple months out, and like a lot of the fine polish doesn't go on the game until like, you know, the very last minute. And I understand that, but my concern lies in that if, you know, the people running the Xbox machine who are putting off this event as like, this is the thing that's going to sell our console, and they were okay with alpha footage textures, it's just like, I don't know. I think you wouldn't be wrong to be a little bit concerned about, again, not about the developers and the ability of 343 Industries to make a fantastic game. I have full confidence in them. I just, you know, the lack of attention to detail and being okay with something that's clearly not up to standard by like the lead management people just makes me a little bit concerned about Xbox as a whole, as opposed to Halo or 343 Industries.
That's fair. Like they should have prefaced like
there should have been something like this is all pulled from alpha footage from March 2020 or something like that. Whatever
it was. Like at least set the expectation. That's something that like with the last thing is like they improperly set expectations and it blew up in their face.
Exactly.
And the same thing is happening with Halo.
They kind of did it again. So they're not learning a lesson from that. But not to delve too deep into that. Yes. That's our view on okay, we're well aware that like Craig here is probably not what you'd expect when you talk about 2020 brand new next gen console.
Yeah, and like, then lighting is fucked, calling is fucked.
Yeah,
in dev that's behind us now.
Your thoughts?
But the thoughts. So the most important thing for this was that it brought me right back to Halo CE. It brought me
to Halo what?
Like Halo 1.
Okay. What'd you call it? CE? What's that?
Combat Evolved.
Oh, see, this is how unfucking into Halo I am. Halo CE. Okay, I gotcha.
And yeah, like they always did that on purpose. Like it's the drop pod, crash lands on the planet, the same as Halo 1.
Yeah. You look around
and then you come out of the drop pod and it reveals this fucking world. And I was just like, I audibly went like, oh yes, we're back on a ring. Like, who'd have thought that a Halo game was actually going to be played on a Halo? Like,
imagine.
What?
What?
So very excited for that. I mean, the world building, I thought it looked really awesome.
I think so.
I know a lot of people had issues with like the weird looking columns, but if you know the lore, like this ring is. Everything on the ring is fake, and like this ring is being built, and like all those weird Minecraft columns, as people have been pointing out, it's like it's all part of the lore of the world, the ring getting built.
But that could also fall into like again our boy Craig here, who's like not the most aesthetically pleasing looking person in the world. Like that could also be an unfinished texture.
Exactly.
Right. And there's like what you said, like where that's also part of the lore if they didn't fix anything, but that could just be something that just hasn't been texturized yet. And like any kind of graphical fidelity thing, I think for this episode, we're kind of giving a pass to.
Yeah, graphical fidelity stuff. I'm not going to look into too much. I'm going to probably say
it's going to come up again.
It's going to come up again because it's hard not to.
It is. Yep.
It's hard not to, but like we're not like I'm not discount. Like I'm not saying the game's gonna be shit because the graphics in this demo were not the best.
Of course.
But the one thing that's the most important for me is like I remember way back in the day, the first time when you land on the Halo ring in the pod and you come out, like the first thing I wanted to do was explore the ring.
Right.
But obviously, all the past Halo games are pretty linear.
Right.
You can't really go and explore.
Right.
But this one, being an open world, like that is quote unquote several times larger than the last two Halo games combined.
Yeah, it said two times the size of the last two Halo games.
My note is wrong. It's several times larger.
Okay.
Or maybe it was
my note says 2 times larger.
No, on Halo Waypoint it's several times
larger.
Great.
Yeah, great.
So like that is so cool. And I just picture like I remember like playing Halo CE with my buddy, like split screen, like in his bedroom on like a shitty CRT TV, and like just trying to figure out ways to break the game to like get out of the like boundaries to explore because that's all we wanted to do.
Right.
Like not care about the mission, what we're doing.
Just go
like,
float around. Yeah.
Just go explore. And that's what's been brought to this Halo.
Right.
I think that like.
And it being open world is confirmed, right? Like
it's open world.
It is open world. Like that's amazing.
It's open world, but it's from what I can tell, it's not open world like how I saw a few tweets where it's like it's not open world because there's not going to be other people running around. And it's like good.
Yeah, but that doesn't define what that doesn't
it's
mean.
Like,
I
don't
that's
want this
shared
to,
world versus open world, right?
Yeah, I don't want this to be Destiny. I don't want to be walking around the world and see other people also walking around.
Another
the world.
Master Chief when you're supposed to be Master Chief.
It's open the world in the fact that like you get online with your buddy and you grab a warthog and you drive around and you explore.
Yeah.
And where's the little note here? Like there's treasures to find.
Yeah, so it's going to be like there's going to be like almost like Far Cry elements to it, right? Where it's like there'll be outposts or there'll be collectibles or there'll be hidden areas and Easter eggs and these kind of things to find.
Yeah, and like,
which, like,
and like encampments that you can go and just like fuck up.
But how great is that for a Halo experience, right? Because the Halo lore is like there's there's endless possibilities for what you could have inside these encampments or these bases or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and I just love the idea, and it, like because like going back way back when of just like wanting to go off and explore anyways. Like I know the mission is there. I want to go. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I want to go look over there and see what's over there.
That was a deep burp, my friend. Holy
I'm
Lord.
so sorry. I'm just, that's his excitement. I'm excited. I am very excited for this next Halo. I don't know if it's too obvious, but
I think the Halo fan base has been so underserved when it comes to deep dives into lore and these kind of things. You know what I mean? Like they've been very like there's been lore and there's been like little things you can read and little notes and computer databases that you can check here and there kind of thing. But the lore seems so deep and like there's so many stories to tell that not having something that's open world is almost a disservice to the fans for like forever. Like I know you couldn't probably like technologically do an effective open world with like Halo CE, apparently what it's called.
Yeah, like Halo 1, like the technology back there just wouldn't support it.
But so I mean I'm happy to see that because I think we'll end up with a pile of Easter eggs that will be really, really great fan service for longtime Halo fans. And it's apparently also going to run at full 60 FPS.
Yeah,
and like console,
like 4K 60 FPS.
Like anyone who's never played on a PC that's only ever played on consoles, I don't think you guys know what you're in for of the difference between 30 and 60. Like it's like playing a different game. Like you could play the same game at 30 FPS and at 60 FPS, and it doesn't feel like you're playing the same game.
Well, it's important to note that it's 4K 60. We've had 60 FPS on consoles for ages now.
What games are 60 FPS? Are there games? Again, you guys don't know, or again, new
60
listeners.
60 FPS for consoles isn't new, but it's 4K.
4K
and that's
60.
more
Okay,
messaging, like locked at 60 FPS. It's like, okay, we had that with the last Halo and the Halo before that and the Halo before that.
But like a pile of games on consoles still run at 30. Like Uncharted games run at 30 FPS. Like The Witcher 3 runs at 30 FPS.
I
like,
didn't know that.
Like these, like there are. Again, if I'm wrong as far as like consoles not playing or consoles who do play 60 FPS, there are open world games that are like fantastic experiences. Like again, so The Witcher 3 is an example where like The Witcher 3 on console is ass. But if you're playing on PC and you have like even a half decent rig and you're running at like 60, 90, 144 FPS, it's like this game is buttery smooth and it just changes the flow of combat and it changes exploration because everything is just like,
at least for like first-person shooters on consoles, like 60 FPS has been a norm for a while.
Okay, fair enough.
But But like the important thing is it's 4K 60 FPS locked.
Right.
It's locked at 50 FPS no matter what your resolution is.
Locked at 60.
Yeah.
You said 50.
Oh, close enough.
Who notices 10 frames, dude?
It's locked at 60 FPS. You can go from whatever up to 4K. And that's great, assuming they fix the graphics and it still runs at 4K 60 FPS fine.
Amazing.
And especially when they introduce like ray tracing, which is going to be post-launch.
So what? Talk to me about this whole this post-launch plan. Like, what's the deal with this? Like, again, like we've ranted about like, man, I wish a game would come out and it would just be fucking done, and not have a day one patch and not have a patch 10 days in that has to fix 1 billion bugs. Like, this is along that idea of like ray tracing is not going to come out when it's released, but in 2 weeks it'll be there. So like, what's the situation with this whole thing? Do you know?
I don't know. Like I'll tell you what I've read from a interview with IGN and 343. So like, this is the last Halo for the foreseeable future.
Right.
As in, we're not going to see a Halo 7, we're not going to see a Halo Infinite 2, or whatever. And I feel like they want to really build upon Halo Infinite as being this platform to expand stories, to increase into, just improve.
Right.
And one of the things that they're going to improve post-launch is tech.
Right.
And that's by introducing ray tracing.
Okay.
I don't know why. I mean, going to say that like a lot of the tech stuff that is kind of behind is probably because of the pandemic and people not being in the office.
That's fair. Yeah.
And that's why in one of the interviews, I forget his name, and he's like the head of marketing for Microsoft or something. He said like we are in a pandemic and we're trying our best type thing.
No, fair enough. Very fair. And you know what? For this year, I think a lot of those games probably get a bit of a pass, right? As like, okay, it's going to come in 2 weeks later because, well, we just don't, we couldn't do the 60 or 70 hour weeks that we would normally do for the summer to release our game.
So being like, I think it's fair to be a little bit more lenient with this type of
fair.
things.
Yeah. People won't be, but that is fair.
I know people won't be. It's the gaming industry.
It most certainly is the gaming industry, if nothing else.
Yeah, but I think it's a good thing to point out that like technology updates are going to be something that happen with Halo Infinite.
That's very
as
interesting.
software gets better. So assuming they fix and get like regular good lighting on launch, then make and then a ray tracing update later just to make it all that much juicier.
Yeah, that's great.
That's cool.
Yeah,
and it just shows that like down the line, a year, 2 years from now, when like software gets better, because that's where we're at, in like optimization is going to come from better software.
Right.
That they're able to do that and make Halo Infinite 2 years from now
almost a completely different game.
Better.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that's cool. And they were going to do more stories. And one thing that they said is like it's not going to be a live service game.
Right. Okay.
Like Destiny is. I don't know what that means. They kind of hinted towards like you could see more rings, more worlds, more stories. But like they're going to build Halo Infinite as a platform for future Halo stories.
Right.
So
I mean, that's exciting, absolutely. And again, like I have full faith in 343, and I really, really hope they'll knock it out of the park. I think they have the talent to knock it out of the park. If they don't, I know we've talked about this before. Like, if they don't, then this will be it for Halo. Like that. Like I don't think they'll get another shot. At least not for a very, very long time. And it might be another studio.
I think like if this one fails, like that's it.
Like probably, right?
Like,
so
they're not gonna invest another $500 billion into a game.
Of course, yes, absolutely not. And we don't know a whole lot about multiplayer, but like I think we all know that Halo will live and die by its multiplayer. So once that stuff is revealed, we'll go deeper into that. Just strong hopes that the esport and the multiplayer is phenomenal, and it makes people want to stick around and play and grow as a game from within the multiplayer as well as from within the single player campaigns, right? My thoughts on Halo initially was the first thing I thought was like, this looks like Halo 1. Like, to me, it was just like, this is like such the reminiscence of the very start of Halo 1. It's like it's what I want, right? It's not something that's weirdly unfamiliar. And it's like, I guess it's Halo because there's Master Chief, but like, whatever. All the character animations look great. Like what's the little tiny dude holding the 2 bombs that jumps?
The suicide grunt gets thrown.
Yeah, and jump, and like that was amazing. I think the gameplay, like the combat loop looked really good. The fighting and the melee, it just looked very, very, very much like Halo, but it looked like Halo in its best form.
Yeah, like, and a lot of people are comparing the sound effects to Doom.
Right.
Like they're very low and very impactful.
Right.
Like, so first thing I noticed is like, and when they first fire, is like, holy shit! Like, these guns punch.
Yeah. And they had I know they had the like the grappling hook was there, and the grappling hook, like that, I think it looks cool, and it's like they added from what it looked like, the grappling hook is there, but it seems very much as a utility.
Yeah.
Which is what it should be, right? Especially if something like the grappling hook is going to be a multiplayer.
Yeah, which,
right?
The grappling hook, according to Halo Waypoint, is going to not be something that's on you all the time. It's going to be a pickup.
Like a pickup, yeah.
Like a power weapon. So don't worry. That was, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, are people going to just be flying around the fucking map with grappling hooks? That's not the point.
Right.
That's not what's going to happen.
But the physics on the grappling hook look really cool. Like, it looked, in my opinion anyway, from when I seen it, it looked like a rope coming out kind of thing. So it had that... like, it looked very much like a physical grappling hook that's being thrown, as opposed to just like what's the Zelda thing called?
Oh, I don't know.
Whatever.
The Zelda thing.
The Zelda grappling hook, where it's just like it shoots out of your arm. It's just like a whip straight line, and just you get pulled to it. It was very much. It felt very physical and very alive, which is I really, really did enjoy that part of, again, seeing a grappling hook.
And it makes sense for like the open world thing to help traverse that.
Of course, yes, absolutely.
Because they toned down a lot of the movement.
Right.
Which I think everybody in the Halo community wanted.
I think so. So it looks like you had said that it looks like they got rid of the
thruster abilities,
like the thruster dashing, and it's more of just like a sidestep or a leap kind of thing, as opposed to
they didn't like. It's kind of hard to tell without actually playing, but it looks like its base movement might be a little bit faster,
right?
And the difference between regular running and sprinting is a lot less than the difference between Halo 5, whereas like sprinting is vastly different.
Right.
It looked like we went from a jog to a run instead of a walk from a run.
Which is great, yeah.
And they got rid of all the thruster shit, which is thank God.
Yeah, I think Halo as a multiplayer game would do much better without the power slams and the huge long dodges and thrust abilities and jetpacks and there's double jumps and that kind of shit anyway, but like, you know what I mean? Like these hyper aggressive events, movement things that have been in Halo for a little bit. I think Halo as a game just feels better without those. Yeah,
and that just makes the map it's going to help make the map design be more traditional Halo map design.
For sure. So as a whole, as a mega fan, are you excited, concerned? What did you walk out of that trailer thinking?
Cautiously optimistic.
I think that's probably fair. Yeah.
Like I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be the best game in the world. I'm excited for it. Just hoping that
not disappointed.
Not disappointed at all. Assuming, even if the graphics at launch or what we saw on the event, if the gameplay is good and the open world thing is good, I'm still going to be happy.
For sure. No, I got you. Yeah, if the multiplayer side doesn't turn out to be what we're hoping, and you end up but you do end up with a great campaign, then at least you can leave there saying, you know what, I played a great Halo campaign, and maybe I don't go back to it ever again, but I had a great experience with that campaign. This is doomsday worst case scenario type stuff, but
worst case scenario, I'd rather have a good multiplayer over a good campaign.
Oh, yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
cautiously optimistic, though.
I would agree with you on cautiously optimistic. So there were other things in the event. I don't think we should go through each and every studio like we do with the Sony one, because I think there were a lot of things shown that you really just have to wait and see to what the game is actually going to be. But what I would like us to do is kind of highlight some of the things you're the most excited for, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
I think number one, as the most exciting thing for me, would be Fable.
Yeah, I think that
was as a grand finale. That's definitely the thing. Huge Fable fan as a game. Just the whole series, the world, the vibe of the game. And I think they knocked it out of the park with the trailer, which that's what gets me the most excited, is the fact that Fable. We're just talking about Halo. Fable doesn't take itself too seriously. And the way that they've done this trailer with the pixie flying around, it's like, this is very much a fantasy world, and like, welcome to your welcome to this magical place of wonder, this whole thing. And then the pixie gets eaten by a frog. Yeah. It's like, that's like the most Fable vibe that I could have possibly asked for. So to see that lets me know that the people doing the game understand what Fable is. Like, it's not supposed to be Elder Scrolls serious.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be like, you are the savior, or at least you were like the savior of the world, but very tongue-in-cheek, the savior of the world, right? And there's a lot of fun and comedy within Halo, and that trailer just screamed all of what Halo is to me. Sorry, I keep saying Halo. Jesus Christ almighty. Screamed what Fable is to me. And I'm very, very excited at the potential of where we could go with it's been years since a new Fable game has come out. So I'm just very excited to see where you could take that Fable skeleton and bring it into something brand new with all the advancements in technology that we've had since Fable 3.
What are your thoughts on it being an MMO rumor?
That's interesting. Like, so I'm a big MMO fan, and like, honestly, I've been craving to play a new MMO. Like looking at all the MMOs that are still popular and being like, man, should I try this? Should I try this? Should I try? Do I get back into WoW? Do I try ESO? Do I get into Final Fantasy 14? Like, looking at what's coming up as far as MMOs, and just like hoping that, like, looking for something like that to really, really sink my teeth into. And there isn't a whole lot that I'm like incredibly interested in. There's a couple of upcoming ones that like could be good, but I have a little bit of concern, and there's part of me that would be excited about it being an MMO, and part of me that'd be concerned. I'd be excited because the Fable world is so vast, and again, if you hit the tone right, it could be very, very fun to run around a world like that with all those hilarious type of characters and everyone being kind of an asshole. And like the buying a house and customizing your house and having these grand adventures with these great combat systems, and it's like kind of cartoony but also kind of serious. As an MMO, if you could hit all those notes, would be very, very fun and would probably last for a very, very long time and be incredibly successful. But the other side of it is, if it wasn't that, then I end up losing one of the greatest single-player story action adventure games that there could have been if they didn't do just a single-player campaign. And any Fable fans would know that some of those Fable campaigns are some of the greatest fantasy storytelling campaigns that have probably been ever created. They're incredibly fun. And I get scared at the risk of losing that in a single player campaign, which is weird because it does fight very much with the optimism of how great a good Fable MMO could be. Because a good Fable MMO could be the best MMO ever made. It really, really could, because Fable is not locked into any kind of box, so it could be literally anything. But whether you can carry that over into an MMO, I'm not really sure. I hope they could. I would love that. But again, it would if it's not done right, then it's one of those things where it would just end up killing Fable as a series. And I would rather have a fantastic, 30 or 40 hour campaign than the risk of I would prefer it to be a single player game. But I will be, again, cautiously optimistic if it does turn out to be an MMO.
Yeah, they could pull an Elder Scrolls and have, the Skyrims and the Morrowinds, and then have ESO on, like ESO.
Yes.
Like in this completely separate game set in the universe. Should be cool.
Absolutely.
Again, that's just a rumor from unconfirmed sources.
We don't know for sure. We don't know at all. And there's no reason to know. I mean, it was literally just a cinematic trailer that was like 45 seconds.
A cool thought.
A great thought. Absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing I think on our last episode, on our predictions episode, we said that Double Fine was going to do nothing because they hadn't done anything in forever. And they came out with Psychonauts 2. Yeah. Which looks, so if you're a Psychonauts fan, it had the whole Jack Black was in the trailer singing the song. Like it felt very Psychonauts. If any older gamers are watching this episode and you guys have been fans of Psychonauts, I think this one happened to hit the Psychonauts vibe very, very, very well. Did you see that trailer? I know you missed a little piece of it.
I missed that trailer, unfortunately.
But so that one's, again, if you like Psychonauts, this looks very, very much like Psychonauts, and I think you should be excited for it. The other two things I do want to touch on, as far as like the things that I'm really excited for, the idea of Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 being done in Unreal Engine 5 is very exciting. Like that game, I know we talked about this before, how people need to play this with headphones and really experience it. It's truly, truly a unique gaming experience. So try to get into that if you have a chance to play the first one and be excited for the next one because it looks fantastic. And the other thing would be Avowed.
I am very excited for Avowed.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to fill that hole in the waiting for the next Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, if anyone's seen that, so that Avowed is the next proper RPG from Obsidian. Obsidian, of course, most famously did Fallout New Vegas. Their most recent game would be The Outer Worlds. Both fantastic games. But if you watch the trailer, it was very much a cinematic trailer. But at the end, it looked to me like it transferred from cinematic to in-game footage when the person stood up and had a sword in one hand and was holding magic in the other hand. And it looked like Skyrim, but done in 2020.
Yeah, and it looked fucking awesome.
And it looks so, if so...
I just can't wait to see more of it.
Yeah, so it seems like Obsidian is doing a Elder Scrolls style game as their next big proper RPG. And I tell you what, if they can get an Elder Scrolls style RPG out and it's really good before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, they stand to make a stupid amount of money. And Obsidian's great, man. Obsidian is such a good developer that like they definitely like if they're more on point and they're like flying through it, if you could release, it wouldn't even have to be like world breaking as like this like brand new like a world shattering kind of like, oh my god, this is changing the face of gaming. It could feel like Skyrim with just like, but made in 2020, you know what I mean? With like a little bit better combat and like the textures would obviously be better and the world would be a little bit more interactive and that kind of thing. If you could just do that, it would be so successful.
It'd be, I got myself, I don't play a lot of single player adventure games, but people, I'm dying for
people have been chomping at the bit for a new Skyrim since Skyrim came out.
Yeah.
Like they've been like, give me more of this. And it's amazing that other developers haven't done. Basically, like, why don't we just copy Elder Scrolls? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and it'd be great to get one of these style of games into the like the live service model, where it just continues to get bigger and bigger and
Which
bigger.
you
and bitty.
could, right? That's such a good idea too, where a game like that could fit that live service thing so well. Like you could have, like I know, like we were talking about Destiny earlier. Like Destiny 2 has like weekly updates. Like every week there's some kind of new little thing happening that leads up to a bigger thing when the DLC comes out. Right? They have like little events that tell a tiny little story or a little piece of the story, a little change, whatever it may be. Then every year they have a big DLC.
Yeah,
Like something like an Avowed or an Elder Scrolls 6 when that eventually comes out could do something like that. That's a fantastic idea, actually. Like to see, if any Skyrim. I mean, I guess, who hasn't played Skyrim? It's like imagine going to one of those towns the first time you play Skyrim, but then 6 months later, something happens to that town, and
the town is forever different.
Exactly.
So, that'd be incredible. Like the world is dynamic.
Yeah.
And like if you didn't start the game, like whenever you play the game, like that's kind of like
the world is as it is now.
Yeah.
And like if you didn't play it day one, then you didn't get to see what it was like day one.
That'd be very interesting.
Right, that means that this tower is now gone, or the people who run this city it's run by different people because it was overtaken back in September or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's like that kind of situation.
That'd be cool. I mean, we've literally seen like 3 seconds of this.
I know.
We're just like,
well, but that's
making all these grandiose
but listen,
statements.
dude, like that's.
But,
I mean, try and tell me that these conversations aren't what they were going for when you bring up a sword and magic in each hand, like it's BioShock or like it's Elder Scrolls. Like you're
creating talking points. You're creating theories.
Exactly. So you're trying to get people into the idea of that style of game. And so that style of game
on next gen in 2020, like what can we do with
exactly?
This?
So the possibilities are endless, and it's just like
it could be an MMO for all we know.
It very much could be. Just all we're gonna have is MMOs. Imagine every game that comes.
The next update, it's like, oh, Halo is actually an open world MMO.
Yeah, that's right. Christ, it's always PvP. It's no matter what, it's always multiplayer. But those were the other two big ones. For me, did you see anything else in there that like really, really stood out, or any other pieces of tech or any other notifications that came up where you were like, oh, fuck this?
So the one thing was, I remember in a previous episode, I don't remember when, but I was like, I kind of brushed off Forza because I was like, Forza games have looked realistic. Like they're not going to get any better. And on this one, I was like, oh, fuck, I was wrong.
It looked really good.
They're like in the studio, and it's like, oh my god, like
there's like
it just might as well be a movie.
There's like burnt tire tracks on the track and all this kind of stuff.
I just didn't think that like I think it could look better, but like oh my god, like Forza looks like you're gonna be driving like in Fast and the Furious,
an actual car,
like,
absolutely.
Like Jesus.
One thing that I think we would be very remiss to talk about if we didn't. When it comes to Microsoft is if you're excited about video games or anything that's coming up on the next gen and you don't have Games Pass, like I'm unsure what you're doing. Like it has to be the best deal in all of gaming right now. It has to be.
Yeah, I think it's a very I mean, people are definitely talking about it, but like all the games that they revealed,
every single one is going to be available on Games Pass. All the
first-party games are going to be on Games Pass.
It's incredible.
And like we were talking about, we had episode couple back about games getting expensive and people complaining about that, and Microsoft like literally just answered that.
Yeah, it's like
all of them are on Game Pass, and they're not in. Apparently, they're not in the cycle because Game Pass like cycles games, so be in and not. But apparently, they're just all going to be there.
It's amazing. Microsoft has a very different approach from Sony to getting people into their next generation of consoles. Like where Sony is very much like, hey, Spider-Man Miles Morales is on PS5 and just on PS5. So either buy the console or don't play it. Then on the other side, Microsoft is like, nothing in the first year is going to be exclusively to Series X. everything we shown at our games event is going to be on Games Pass, so you can play it on. That means like technically for most of these games, you could play on Series X, Xbox One, and PC.
Yeah,
most of them, and it's like that's insane. That like there's a new generation coming up, and I have. If I have my Xbox One and I have my PC, I don't need to like get ready to drop $600 whatever it's going to be on a new console.
Yeah, anybody with a current gen console and who is already on Game Pass will be able to play all these games.
And like of course all of these games are going to be like optimized for Series X, and will like don't get it twisted. Like if you had an original Xbox One, like Halo Infinite's probably not going to run super.
You're going to
sick.
get the demo graphics on that Xbox.
Yeah. That's probably what it's going to look like.
You're going to get Craig Brutes.
That's right. That's very much what the difference will be. But the fact that you can still play it is like amazing. Like that's like I do think that is it's a tough stance to take, because it's like, hey, you don't even worry. You know what? The new console's out. Buy it when you're ready. It's like, as a company, that doesn't seem like a very smart move. But listen, as a consumer,
they're just gonna rely on subscriptions,
and that's great because again, Games Pass is an insane deal. And like, I don't know. Depending on it depends on how many games you play, I suppose. But if you actively play very like different video games, there's no way that the couple whatever it is, $15 a month or whatever that Games Pass isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, right now apparently there's 10 million Game Pass subscribers.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
At all. I mean, they're making bank off of this model.
True.
The subscription model is the model, like the pricing model of where everything is going subscription.
Well, and the value with that is putting those first party titles or those AAA games in the Games Pass. And it's like, oh, I don't have Games Pass now. Halo Infinite comes out. It's like I could spend $80 on Halo Infinite, or I've never had Games Pass. In the first 2 months I can get for $1. Like I'll probably just spend $1 and play Halo Infinite and have access to like 1,000 other titles. It's
pretty cool.
It's really good. I think Games Pass, like until PlayStation Now catches up to Games Pass, which it is nowhere friggin' close. Microsoft has such an advantage on that front of potential user-based numbers. I think Microsoft has a strong advantage. I do think that Sony has an advantage when it comes to first-party developers, like when you talk about Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch and Insomniac and these kind of developers who are just like absolutely incredible. I think Sony has the advantage there, but like when it comes to raw, just video game developers, but as a platform, I think Microsoft is leaps and bounds ahead of as far as accessibility, entry level price, playing with friends, it being a multi-use console, these kind of things. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Very, very interesting to see what happens.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
And we're not going to know till the holiday.
We won't know.
And they still didn't give a date or a price.
I'm so mad they didn't give a price, and I'm so mad. I shouldn't say I'm mad. I'm mad they didn't give a price. I thought that was going to be a thing. That's like very disappointing. I'm a little upset that there wasn't something that was like, and you can play this right now.
Yeah.
There was none of that, which is like a little disappointing that there wasn't like the
the
Halo
wasn't like Grounded like out or something.
Grounded comes out in
28th.
Yeah. But like
it's nothing to write home about.
No, like I mean that being said, like Grounded looks fun. Like it looks like Honey I Shrunk the Kids if you're if you're a 30-year-old like I am.
And Wasteland 3 is it's August 28th.
No, there's a bunch of stuff that comes out in the next month or so, but there's nothing where it's like, and as of literally right this second, you can go download the Halo Infinite Alpha multiplayer beta. It has one map and one mode. Like something like that would have just everyone would have flipped their wig, right?
Yeah. I mean, but more waiting.
Absolutely, yeah. So a lot of it is a holding pattern, which is, I mean, it's fine, I guess. Like I think everyone is in a holding pattern, looking forward to next gen consoles because everyone's deciding to not say anything about pricing and dates that they're going to be released. And like, we know it's going to be holidays, but like, so it'll be November probably.
Holiday is so ambiguous. It
It's
could
so
be November till fucking December.
Yeah, like so no one really knows, but I mean, we'll see. You guys will know. You guys will hear it here, of course, once that comes out. But overall, much better conference. Great job. Lots of things to be excited about. A couple very, very high points, and a lot of a lot of stuff where you'll have to wait till it comes out to know if it's any good, right? Which was basically the exact same thing with Sony. So like, I don't know, no one's pushed ahead of the other one, in my opinion. They're
both just pushing forward at different rates at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we only saw 9 out of 15 studios today. There's more events coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
That's pretty much it.
We just got to wait till more content.
Yeah.
We need more content. They have to give us more content so we can give you more content.
Exactly. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We really, really do appreciate it. We are live every Monday. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you let your friends know about the might, the majesty of the Hotfix podcast.
Hell yeah.
Take care, guys. See you next time. Peace out.
Bye-bye.